Hi, Nikki. I'm glad that you wrote us a new set of essays. Let's take a look. This is about online communication at work. Let's see what you said. With the prevalence of the internet, it is now considered the future of conveying information. Many prefer to use technology in communication, while some are still comfortable more with face-to-face method. While some are still more comfortable with the face-to-face method. In my opinion, there are more pros and cons. Not on. There are more pros and cons to this kind of communication. Which one, though? It's not clear because in that previous sentence, you'd use two. You said technology, and then other people are like, no, face to face. So when you say this kind of communication, you got to be careful. It's not clear to us which one you're referring to. So this essay will discuss the advantages using examples from UK studies and Oxford University to demonstrate points of proof arguments. All right, that part's fine. But as I mentioned, the rest of it has some issues. Your referencing, which you do here with this use of this, isn't clear. And there were just little grammatical mistakes. Okay, let's continue and see what you wrote. Evidence is uncountable, so this should be an is. There is ample evidence that online networks have paved the way for helping communication to be quick and easy. This is because, I would have put a full stop here. Full stop in the new sentence. This is because, what happened here? You have that and this. This is because this mode of communication can help people who live far away from work. Many offices are setting this up. A lot of this here. How about are setting up online communication networks or something due to its cost-effective nature, and also some of the employees are from overseas. Another reason is that, you don't need a comma here, another reason is that problem solving at work is now easy to resolve, without the D, due to useful communication via emails and message boards. A recent study from the UK states that social network quality is more important than social network quantity. I don't understand that. How does this prove this? How does this support it? I don't really see how these are particularly well connected, if that makes sense. I thought a lot of this was good, but like I said, a lot of your referencing was a little it needed a little work. So in terms of cohesion, let's see. I also think that this could have been developed more. I'm looking at your next paragraph, and it looks to be rather, let's see if that's 6 lines. This is about 33% more. It looks like it's about, what, 9 lines or so? Yeah, so it's considerably longer than your previous paragraph. Now, the length is not something you have to get really, really obsessive about. It's not like you have to like count words and make sure they're equal, but you do want to try to cover both sides equally. Relatively so, okay? So this paragraph felt rather undeveloped. It felt like there was more stuff to say. Let me see. Anyway, let's keep reading, and then I'll see if there is any other feedback I want to give you on that paragraph. Although there are advantages, what happened to the grammar here? There are also disadvantages, like virtual meetings may sound cold, and this particular reason, can lead to misunderstanding. Face-to-face meetings are still more personal and can have a feeling of additional closeness with coworkers, but this technology does not deny the fact that it greatly helps the society and economy. All right, I don't really understand that. Let's see. On this matter, people do not need to use their Okay, I've gotten kind of confused here because I'm not clear on what your central idea is. So this paragraph was talking about how cost effective and how convenient online meetings and communication at work are. So I am presuming that this paragraph is going to talk about the disadvantages of this. So let's see what you're saying again. Let me read it again. Although there are advantages, there are also disadvantages, like virtual meetings may sound cold, and this particular reason can lead to misunderstanding. Face-to-face meetings are still more personal. It can have a feeling of additional closeness with coworkers, but this technology does not deny the fact that it greatly helps the society and economy. Okay, so I'm really confused. You talk about advantages, so we feel like this is a segue into the disadvantages. And then you talk about face-to-face meetings and they're positive, and then you're talking about technology being helpful. So it's really very confusing. These first 4 lines, I'm not sure what your central meaning is. It should be clear to me. Now, it's possible when you're using the template, you can do something where you basically summarize this paragraph in order to introduce the next. But this, I don't think this is what you want to do. So I want to just kind of highlight this, okay, and put it to the side for a minute while we look at the rest of your paragraph. On this matter, people do not need to use their cars. This is strange, by the way, on this matter. We don't really say this in English. People do not need to use their cars, and by doing that, not human, but people or mankind can also save precious fossil fuels, S, and reduce the carbon footprint, singular. On top of that, in those giant tech parks, what do you mean in those giant tech parks? You're talking about them as if we know which ones you're talking about, but we don't because it's the first time you've mentioned them. So, on top of that, in giant tech parks where more than thousands of employees are working, no. On top of that, in giant tech parks where more than thousands of employees work, most of them could operate in low power mode because most of the employees could work from their respective homes with the help of online meetings, and that could help decrease electricity and water consumption. Okay. A study from Oxford University states that modern technology tremendously affects society on its way of working. I would have said in. And way of life. All right, how about this? In its way of working and life. Okay, so clearly we had a problem here with the coherence and cohesion aspect of this. Your central idea was not clear. The paragraph definitely needs some work. I kept those first few sentences highlighted. It was really unclear to me because you kept going back and forth, positive, negatives. So it wasn't clear to me what you were talking about. So what I understand is that, because I looked back at your introduction, you said that you were just going to cover the advantages of this. So mentioning here the disadvantages really did not help you. It just created a ton of confusion, okay? Let's see. To conclude, there may be some disadvantages to the virtual conversation, but personally I believe that advantages weigh more. I would suggest that the organization should consider stressing talking over the internet rather than the old ways of communication. Okay, so yeah, that's true. You did have some disadvantages, but they were so confusing the way they were organized that this is not what I would have focused on in your conclusion. Your conclusion really should have focused on the main idea here, which is that you think that there are far more advantages. So, like I said, I don't think this mention of disadvantages helped your paragraphs at all. So I would encourage you to get rid of them and focus just on the positive sides. If you do want to focus on the negative sides of this, then you really have to restructure this essay in a lot of different ways. Actually, looking at the question again, it says, do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Okay, so let me take back what I just said. You are supposed to talk about the disadvantages here. So what I would have done is I would have taken a whole paragraph to talk about those disadvantages. What are the disadvantages of this shift towards online communication? Okay, what are the disadvantages of this? What are we losing when all of our business is online? Okay, so that's what I would have talked about in the first paragraph because they do expect you to talk about the disadvantages. And then I would have spent my other paragraph talking solely about the advantages of this technology. Okay, and then you're not just going to discuss the advantages, but you're going to discuss both because it asks you to talk about both. Okay, And then this is fine. But yeah, you have to really rewrite this in a lot of different ways. So you should have an entire paragraph. I told you before, get rid of anything talking about disadvantages. I completely take that back because of the way the question is structured. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? There is an implication that you really should analyze both. So you first analyze the side that you don't support, then you analyze the side that you do support, and say that for all the above reasons, I believe that blah, 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 the advantages are better in this case. Okay? So that's how I want to see you do this. Let's take a look at your task 1 about the school subjects in Germany. The pie chart illustrates percentages of the popular subjects at school in Germany in the year 2017. Overall, history, PE, mathematics, and physics were the most popular subjects. Okay. The most popular subjects in the German school are physical education at 22.9 and history at 22.4. You don't start sentences with and, okay? 1/4 of the students preferred mathematics at 19.5. This also goes to the number of the students who liked physics, which comprises 18%, 18.1 of the total population, sorry. Biology is the 6th most popular among the subjects at about 7.1. Just 6.4% of the students choose geography, and the least favorite subject among them is IT at only 3.7. All right, this is too short. And Nikki, it's mechanical. I'll tell you what that means in a minute. This was 105 words. So it's really, really, really way too short. There are several things that you need to do here with this. Let's see, where do I want to start? Okay. Let's see. Overall, history, PE, maths, and physics were the most popular. That was fine. So up to here, you were fine. What you did here is I like the way you separated these. So I absolutely agree with the way you did your paragraphs. Okay. I absolutely agree with this decision, but I don't agree with the way you developed this. It was far too short, as I already told you. Where's the image? Something happened when you tried to include the image. So let me pick it up and let me find it for you and then we'll talk about it. So here's the image that you had. Let me see if I can just change a couple of things here. Okay, so like I said, I agreed with a handful of things you did. I agreed with your introduction and your overview, and I agreed with the way you split your paragraphs. What I don't agree with is how you actually developed your paragraphs. You did what examiners call mechanical analysis of this data. And what that means is that you're not going to be able to get above a 5 in task achievement. You have to do more with these numbers, especially when you have a really simple chart like this. This one is a really simple one. So you have to extend, you have to find connections and comparisons to make it more meaningful. So let me see if I can show you what I mean. I would have kept your introduction the way you had it with the overview. And then I would have said that the 4 most popular subjects, PE, history, maths, and physics, accounted for the greatest proportion of the pie chart at roughly 80%, or the 4 most popular subjects accounted for roughly 80% of all school subjects in Germany. More specifically, PE was the highest at 22.9%. The second highest was history with 0.5% less. The third and fourth most popular were slightly below 20%, with maths at 19.5% and physics at just above 18%. And then start a new paragraph. The remaining 3 subjects were each less than 10% in terms of popularity. Of these, biology was the most popular at 7.1%. The least popular was roughly half as popular as biology. And then you can put comma, IT at 3.7%. The second least popular subject was, was geography with 6.4%. Okay, so you have to do things like this. You have to combine them, and then you have to separate them, and you have to show how they all relate to each other. And another thing that you could do here is you could have a conclusion. Because you have an overview, you don't need to. But what you could do here is you could have the least popular subject was 7 times less popular than the most popular subject, PE. So you could make that kind of connection, or it was roughly 7 times less popular. So those are some things you need to do in order to extend this. So I actually find these really simple charts more difficult to do than the ones that have a lot of information, because you have to make these kinds of extensions, these kinds of connections. Okay, so Nikki, go ahead and correct these, and let's see your next set of work. Okay, I'm waiting for it, so good luck to you.